Good afternoon. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I didn't get a chance to put a forecast together, but I did want to touch base on the weather. Today looked like a day that we would probably see quite a bit of rain, and we really haven't. It's just been pretty intermittent. As we look in close, there's a narrow line that's kind of pushing through. Right now, in fact, here from City Hall, there's actually a rainbow out east, probably with those cells to the southwest of Muncie. But Madison County, we've at least picked up some rainfall, but nothing like what it looked like was going to happen. That's going to start winding down as a cold front starts to push through, and then the next couple of days, while there are rain risks, they don't look like they're going to be very much. But the severe threat also has largely wrapped completely around us. So there's a strong storm down near Bloomington. There are a couple of strong cells over in Ohio, one of which was tornado warned not that long ago. There's a tornado warning all the way up, in near LaGrange, Indiana, getting ready to move into southeastern Michigan. And then there's another severe storm in northwestern Ohio. So it just kind of wrapped right around us as the bands wrap around the low pressure that's to our northwest. It had looked like that low pressure might track a little closer to us, but it also has become a little bit more moisture starved. I'm not sure how much influence the hurricane is having on that just yet, but nonetheless, there is still a bit of a severe risk. I'll show you that here in just a second. Here's a look at the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center, and we are still in a marginal risk for severe, with a slight risk hanging out more down into southern Ohio and a lot of the eastern half of Kentucky. They don't really have us with a tornado risk right now. I wouldn't totally write off a spin up, but a lot of those dynamics are going to begin to move out of here. And indeed, like I showed you on the radar, most of the dynamics have in fact been to the east, but I wouldn't totally write something off here just yet. Same way with damaging winds. The hail threat to me looks pretty small, but it's not non-existent anyway. And then the next couple of days, the SPC doesn't really have anything for us, and I would agree with that. So the big question as we move later into the week is what happens with Hurricane Helene. It's right now has gotten its act together, and it will be a hurricane as it comes off of the Yucatan Peninsula and then moves across the Gulf of Mexico toward the Big Bend area of Florida. I think there's a chance that might go just slightly farther west than forecast right now. I might, favor the western half of that forecast cone, but it is forecast to make landfall late Thursday. It's somewhere in the Big Bend area. So if you're between Tampa and all the way around to the into the Panhandle, you need to be aware that you've got some nasty conditions coming. Of interest to us is what happens as this gets farther north. You can see it's a pretty fast moving storm, but it's got that curve to the west. That tends to slow them down. Sometimes that tends to dry them up. So there's a lot of difference in model data right now. The European model is pretty aggressive. In fact, every model is aggressive with rainfall except for the GFS. The American model, once it gets to about where the northernmost, let me circle this here. Once it gets about to where, it helps if I change my pen color. Once it gets to about this 2 p.m. Friday mark, the GFS kind of makes this lose a little bit of moisture to another low approaching from the west, and makes this kind of stall out and then track to the east-northeast. If that happens, that will make us be drier Friday and Saturday. If it follows this cone that is forecast and does like the other data and comes with a lot of moisture, then late Friday afternoon through maybe early Saturday afternoon could be a real soaker. So that should come into better focus tomorrow, and that's going to affect how our weekend plays out. So I almost don't feel bad about missing a forecast tonight, because I would really want this weekend to be in better focus as it gets a little bit closer. Last thing I'm going to show you is the 16-day GEFS forecast. I think it's reasonable. It keeps us kind of, hanging in the mid to maybe upper 70s as we get farther in. and enlarge that a little bit. So, as we're getting into the weekend, into early next week, it keeps us into the mid to upper 70s, which is still well above average. And then you can see the big drop off early next week where we fall into the 60s. That actually might still be too warm. And then as we look a little farther down the road, then you see another quick warm up, so to speak. I mean, it's warmer than average. 74 is warmer than average by that point, around the 5th and 6th, and then another cold front that would follow an even stronger cold front right after that. So right now, the first half of October is looking relatively cool, but I just wanted to, show you this real quick. We'll start seeing more frequent lows in the 40s as well. So I'll get a forecast done for you tomorrow and update things for you better tomorrow. And if anything severe pops up this evening, I will let you know, but that's looking pretty minimal right now. This is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Have a great evening.